Hi everyone. So I've got good news and bad news for you. The bad news is that this video was originally going to be the much requested, long awaited thigh reveal video that everyone's wanted. Unfortunately, something popped up and that one has to be delayed indefinitely. But anyway, so when you have a YouTube channel, you can download this app called Studio, and it's really good for all these graphics, and it tells you, viewership and how long people watch your videos, and tells you what they're wearing when they're watching your videos. But usually I just keep track of them for like the first 1,000. I kind of like baby bird my videos. Like I kind of know which ones are going to do good and which ones are going to be average. So if something's coming out of the gate and it's slow, I try to figure out it's probably got like tweak the image, or maybe like I'll saturate the color so it pops out more, change the image, change the title. But once it's like off, it's grown wings and started to fly, I move on to the next video. So for some reason I wanted to see what this one's doing, since people are still like commenting on it, even though I made it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, whoa. This video has 150,000 views. I noticed it hit 100,000 a week ago or so, and I was like, okay, so that's like a milestone. But I thought it was going to peter out, and it seems to just keep going. So it's gone viral, but it just kind of has legs. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure the last Captain Marvel issue sold less than 20,000. Let me see what her whole... Because they keep relaunching her series, because their series keep failing because nobody likes the character. But let me see what it is. So I looked it up, and here's all the the sales for its Mighty Captain Marvel, which is just weird because Mighty goes with Thor. I don't know why they'd steal Mighty. Like, think of a different adjective. My video about this character has had 30,000 more views than every single issue of her comic that's been sold. And these are mostly the same people. So 48,000 bought the first issue and 19,000 bought the fourth. It's only the fourth issue and it's down to 19,000. And so, it's going to be a percentage of the original. So really, the max that they could get interested in Captain Marvel was 48,000. So I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to think about... I'm actually wondering why people are watching the video, because as I'm trying to grow the channel, I'm trying to guess how big of a potential audience I could have. So I see there's kind of like, there's a big gulf. There's a bunch of people doing whatever videos they want to do, just their own personal interests, and their subs will be from like 500 to like 5,000. And then there's basically nothing in between, and then you jump up to like Nerd Sync with like 325,000. Then you get like what I call the story time guys, which are Comics Explained and Comic Storian, and those guys have like 1 million. But their videos are usually like 100,000. Is this going out to people who don't even read comics? How big is the comics reading YouTube audience? But I think it really goes to show that there's a big audience out there for comics. There's a big audience that's out there interested in comics. So I'm reading these old, because I quoted Jim Shooter, and so I was reading some old interviews with him yesterday, and he was talking about how there was a time at Marvel where every single comic sold 100,000. And we're talking like the Alf comic. We're talking about like Marvel Tales, which was reprints of 20-year-old comics. And not like just special ones. It just like went in order. It would reprint things like old Spider-Mans in order, offset, or there would be X-Men. I forget what the X-Men reprint. Oh, it was called X-Men Classic. And then I think about, like, I did the Dan Slott video a couple days ago that I thought was going to be a roast, and then I ended up really liking it. And I go, oh well, there's nothing wrong. Like, yeah, he's really terrible on Twitter to people all day, but his comics sell 50,000. That's pretty great. And then I was sitting there thinking about it later, and I was like, man, if Dan Slott wasn't just such a tool, I think he could be selling 80,000 copies of every single Spider-Man. and then grow that audience. One of the things I do, obviously this is not a comic, but it's, I have an audience and people comment, is I don't clap back. I'll sometimes type, they'll say like, why do you do this? And like I start to do a response and I was like, no, just whatever your opinion is, that's your opinion. I'm just glad you're here. Seriously, the only thing I really do is I try to keep this a positive channel. I'll delete like racial epithets. You know what I mean? Like I'll delete, if like you put the N-word in there, I'll delete that. Or there's a lot of like anti-Jew stuff for some reason. I don't get that. But yeah, so I'll just delete like racist comments. But besides that, like whatever your opinion is, I did a response video, but I tried to emphasize that I was not making fun or demeaning people. I tried to just show an example of what I believe. Oh, so getting back to Captain Marvel, this is like her 4th or 5th reboot, and they've done this thing that they're doing recently that I feel like it has some aspects of being a good idea, but it keeps failing over and over and over. And what they're doing is they're actually going out and, there's my oven. Marvel's doing this thing where they do this thing where I think there's a good idea in it. They're trying to go outside of comics and recruit people. Because their idea is we want to grow I'm assuming their idea is they want to grow the readership. So they're going to but they're doing weird things. So at some point, they're literally just going to like Tumblr trolls like Saladin Ahmed, although, I'm perfectly willing to change my mind in a heartbeat if he actually writes a good story. I haven't really heard anyone talking about Black Bolt. I'm probably going to review it this week. But then they go out to these like YA authors, and the thing about YA is there are so many YA books that being a YA author is also kind of just like being a person on the planet. Like they say it so you don't know about YA, and they'll be like, oh, YA author blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, okay, she must be someone. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like they pump these things out. So they're trying to get into the market of YA. If you're not getting like the top known authors, then it doesn't really carry over. So they got this woman, Margaret Stoll. So I looked her up on Comic Book Database. A lot of these people that they pick up, they've literally never had a comic before, and they hand them a #1. And it just fails miserably, like Chelsea Kane with Mockingbird and several others of these SJW titles. They're just handed to random people that meet diversity checklists. Oh, you're gay, you're a woman. Oh yeah, the America. That woman had no comic book writing experience, and she's just as confused as we are. she's just riding that gravy train till it ends. But so they got this woman, Margaret Stoll. I looked her up on Comic Book Database. This isn't her first comic, but she's only ever written female characters. So that's just a big red flag. Christopher Priest, whose original name was James Ellsworth, there's a whole story behind that. He wrote a whole bunch of Marvel comics in the 80s. He moved to Marvel and DC in the 90s. He actually had a real long Black Panther run. And then he kind of got out. He came back in for Deathstroke. And he was saying, he does these interviews where they say, was race a problem because he's black in your career? And he goes, it really wasn't until people found out I was black. And then I only started getting offered black characters. He's like, I started on Spider-Man and Wolverine. And, James Owsley is kind of a generic name. It doesn't really, give away your race. And this is back in the day where, you didn't know what your favorite writers and artists looked like. I used to read G.I. Joe by Larry Hama, and I imagined like a, kind of like an older Italian gentleman with like a pot belly, like a grandpa type. And it turned out that it was like this like young, really scrappy Asian guy. So, okay. But just the fact that she's only written female characters, that's just a huge red flag. And then just nobody cares. Like, this is a 5th reboot. What are you doing? So one thing I'm looking at, if I can get 150,000 people to hate watch a video on Captain Marvel, I'm just going to throw it out there. I think I can double her sales. So Marvel, get at me. I know I've done like 50 videos where I call you SJW Marvel, but you have some good books. I like Infamous Iron Man. I I always say this in job interviews. What are my key qualities? I can show up sober to work on time, and that's, I think that might put me ahead of the pack. But anyway, tell me what you think about this video. Tell me why you think my video went 150,000. Tell me if you've read or even heard about the fifth Captain Marvel reboot. At this point, do you even pick it up to flip through it, or do you just roll your eyes and Charlie Mike, as we used to say in the infantry? That means continue movement. So thanks for watching. I'm sorry to say my teaser about the thigh reveal video is fake news. I will never do that. That is creepy as hell. And I'm actually eventually going to get like a wooden board to put in my lap to do these. I have this vision in my head of like a wooden board with a tripod like drilled into the side, so I can do videos anywhere, you know, and then I can also tilt it so I don't have the glare problem you have with the modern comics. So thanks for watching. Share, subscribe, like, hit notifications.